This week's recap in terms of trading, it hasn't really been the best. If I'm gonna be completely honest with you, um, this week has been quite hectic. In terms of trading. So start off the week, just an update. Currently have two funded challenges ongoing. One is a 120k FTMO challenge, and the other one is a 240k. One of them is in deep drawdown, and the other one is somewhat up, close to break even. But we were up about 3% on the 120k this week. But I'll go over that just in a second. It's been honestly it's been very hectic this week. Um and I feel like because I am trading on a higher account size, it's something that I've never actually done before. Because I do remember 2 years ago, the account size is the highest I would trade would be 120k FTMO challenge. And this is the first time I've exceeded that. Um, an amount that is close to the max allocation on FTMO. It's honestly mentally tough. There were a few instances this week where I was at work and just had to find a quiet place to break down in silence. It's hard mentally to handle two high size accounts and knowing the fact that you're in drawdown, and it's hard. It's really hard. You have to really manage your emotions to ensure that you are not over risking. I will admit I have over risked, which is why my account is in the state that it's in. Honestly, for the 120k, it's honestly not so bad. But regardless, I was emotional this week, and it's caused a lot of chaos, if that's word I could describe it. I feel like it's because of just I'm not used to a high account size. What really hit me was the fact that I broke down at work realizing that this is all I have left. Um After this, there's hardly anything I have left to myself financially. I spent the last of my savings that I've been saving up for quite a while, and I also did get a tax return. And when all of that should have probably gone to my next competition, to my investments, or just to, pay off bills, I took a risk. And quite honestly, it's the biggest risk I've ever taken. Honestly, it's tough. It's very tough to just it's tough to be in this position because I don't know that if I will pass this one or not. And if I'm gonna be honest as well, most of the time my accounts they don't really most of my high accounts they don't last a week. I'm on the second week with this one. I'm telling you, it's an emotional roller coaster right now. There are nights where I just wasn't able to fall asleep. There were nights I had to stay up, coping with the pain of losses. Um, it's rough. It's really rough. So yeah, I'm gonna go over the trades. It's gonna be a long video today, but honestly, I feel like this second week of the challenge is honestly it's the start of hopefully something good, but I don't have any high expectations, but I do have confidence with my setups. It's just the fact that when I do end up taking these losses, they impact me very, very highly. And I think it's because of my risk. I feel like it. So, I'm gonna have to minimize my risk, or I don't know, but I'll have to figure it out. So, we're gonna go over the trades. Let me just change the settings of my perfect. So, as you could see, um, I currently have an account that's up, which is the 120k, and the ongoing 240k FTMO. I'll show you a little bit the details on each. So we'll start off with the one I've had for the longest, which has been 2 weeks so far. And just to go over what kind of happened was last week we were actually up pretty good. We were up 1.38%, and after being in a little bit of drawdown, it was looking good. I thought, okay, just a little bit of drawdown. It's going to be consistent from here. But unfortunately, from there, it just started to spiral out of control. So I took a 2% risk, and I ended up a lot lower than I should have. So I went from being 1.38% to like a lot lower. I think it was like 1 point something percent. And from there, I just got emotional and started taking more trades and more trades until we hit uh, 9% in losses, or I think this was 8%. The lowest I have been on this account was 8%, which honestly it's scary because I spent close to $2,000 on this account, and for it to be wiped out all in a single week, it's um it's emotionally draining because I work at a grocery store for a couple months, and honestly, it's not the best place to work at. Don't get me wrong, I enjoy my time there. Like there, I work with a lot of cool people. It's just that I haven't been to school in the past 3 years, and um, it's kind of hard to see that you have others who are close to graduating this year. Yeah, I'll talk about this later. So yeah, I recovered a little bit, went as high as 4.59%, and then we had another loss just now. And yeah, like unfortunately, it's not going to be easy to recover this all the way, but I'm honestly willing to go through this pain and suffering that we'll be going through for the next couple months, recovering the account, passing the accounts. Keep in mind, this is only phase one. Phase one is 10%. And then you have another phase two, which is 5%. So imagine how much harder that would be, you know? And yeah. And the second one is the 120K account, which honestly, it's not so bad right now, but I'm still at a break even. We had a good win earlier this week, 1% drawdown, and went as up as 3%. After that, we just kind of went back to break even, up again, and then break even again. So, um, yeah. So it's honestly it's pretty rough at the moment, but I feel like this is for the start of a challenge like this. Um, Especially now that I have my emotions on track and I have a concrete system that I do follow in terms of risk management, a risk plan, and yeah, I I do see these accounts lasting in the long term. Not 100% sure if I'm going to pass it, but I am fully confident in the fact that I'm fully confident in the fact that these guys, if I do stick to my plan, if I do stick to my risk plan, that eventually I will make it up. I will pass these two. We have our first trade where I risked 2%, and I ended up being swept by liquidity, and price ended up going to my take profit straight after. This could have honestly been the trade where I passed my challenge, but unfortunately, um, that was not the case, and it sucks. It sucks because it does. I've gotten to a point where I I'm able to properly identify my confluences that I strictly set in place. And honestly, this strategy, it's I feel the most comfortable trading the strategy, and this is the one that has kind of worked most of the time for me. and it has worked on multiple occasions. There could maybe be instances where I miss a thing or two, but for this case, there was actually a higher time frame here. Um, if we see it, as you can see here, my entry was wrong when I enter when I should have placed my sorry. As you can see here, my entry was wrong when I should have placed my entry at the 1 hour order block that aligned with a higher time frame Fibonacci. I aimed for the fair value gap on the area on the 1 hour and 15-minute order block equilibrium on the 15th. Had my stop loss right at the entry of the correct trade and got stopped out and price tapped my stop loss. An upsetting trade, but will do better. So as you can see, this area over here was actually a 1 hour, um, even the 15-minute. This actually respected my confluences way more than whatever this was. As you can see, I had the non-close plus sweep up here, confirming our bearish downtrend, a protected high, another protected high, and that's where we had our order block, created so much displacement, and then we had our failed break of structure and accumulation of liquidity until I, you know, eventually got tapped in and stopped out when it actually ended up going up to this 15-minute order block right over here. Yeah, sorry, I thought I'd just change into something a little bit more appropriate for a more serious video like this. It's nothing crazy, but still. It's the second trade that I took, ended up being on GU. This one ended up being a loss as well. I don't have a picture for it, but it ended up being another loss. And then I followed up with my first win, which was the one that recovered from the 8% drawdown after many taken trades. It was this one right here. Because of this trade, I was able to recover a little bit from that 8% loss. Um, so yeah, the next trade I took was unfortunately a loss as well. As you can see, I ended up being liquidity and well, not just prices didn't really. I was actually tapped in for a while. As you can see, my confluence is respected and all. Just ended up being liquidity at the end, stop loss, and started reversing right after. Honestly, wrong bias. Sometimes I do tend to claim that the market is bearish, but it's like higher time. It's actually more bullish on the higher time frame. So I was not exactly paying attention just because of the emotions, and as well because I'm not able to control myself. And when I'm not able to control myself, I do end up taking trades that I haven't fully analyzed, and I haven't taken the time to go over each of the not confluences, but to kind of go over the bigger picture of it and go over more the structure to understand where price is heading towards um, in that time frame. So unfortunately, that's the reason why I lost, and that's totally on me. This next trade over here was one that was amazing. It was a really good trade. Um, it brought me back up just a little bit after a few losses again, but again, it's a pretty solid trade. I think I was up pretty good, and then we had not that break even, and then we have this one, another good trade. You see, it follows my confluences. Um, well, why did I put it as a loss? Was this a loss? No, it was a win. Yeah, it was a win. So yeah, like this here. Sorry. So yeah, another another amazing trade right over here. Um, had the non-closed sweep. We were also bullish on the higher time frame. Internal break of structure, failed break of structure. We had our little accumulation of liquidity, a valid point of interest, and we let price tap in. And as you can see, it went directly to take profit after a while. Um, and yeah, and for this one was unfortunately a loss. Um, This was, I think, on the 100. This was actually my first trade on the 120K account. So, um, there are two reasons why this trade did not work. Number one is this is not a failed proper. This isn't a valid break of structure. If anything, this is more of a non-close sweep. But regardless, I felt that this was the more of the failed break of structure. No, just kidding. But yeah, for this setup, honestly, where I messed up was honestly identifying the actual, uh, the actual proper point of interest. So there was actually a setup just exactly like this one, just a few pips below it, more on the left. I just didn't notice it, and Um, yeah, that one actually had the same confluences and all, just had better displacement. So we had some fair value gaps that had to be tapped in. And as you can see here, this was a 1 minute unmitigated fair value gap. I think I have another picture where it shows right over here. So you had this internal point low, our over order block, and the fair value gap. Sometimes I do like to enter off fair value gaps, and it matched easily with the Fibonacci. So that trade unfortunately didn't work out, but the next trade I did eventually recover it, which was let me show you right here. This was the trade where I was actually able to recover it. Um, so once it tapped it, I ended up going on the lower time frame and ended up catching this move to the upside, which honestly works really, really good. And yeah, almost got stopped out, but again, it created a non-close, non-close plus sweep. So I was actually pretty happy with that and decided to hold a trade, and it went up straight to take profit. That's where I was at 3% with the 120K, and I was at, I think, 4.5% on the 240, uh, minus 4.5%, sorry. And yeah, uh, and finally, it's not really part of this segment of the video, but I did start doing a bit of futures. I posted a video yesterday where I kind of recorded the forward test, and yeah, like honestly, same thing, non-close, break of structure, accumulation liquidity, and pretty much price ended up hitting my take profit. Had a failed break of structure too, point of interest, boom. This trade was actually really amazing. Very happy I took this as a forward test, so I could look back at it if I ever do go to futures. And yeah, it's a good way to start journaling and start collecting data on futures, for the future. No pun intended. Um, want to look at we're on GBP USD, and guys, I'm very upset. If I'm gonna be completely honest with you, I'm very upset. Reasons for that is because um, just a few minutes ago, we're 10:20 today. We're actually 10:20. We're 10:20 a.m. right now, and just about an hour ago, I got stopped out on my position on GBP USD, where um my okay, I'm gonna be honest with you, my thing was a lot higher. It was here. It was like 9.6 here, around here, yeah. So yeah, I'm honestly quite upset that um things didn't really work out for me here. Hold on, guys. I think I'm onto something. I think I might be onto something, guys. It's just let's just analyze this real quick. So we had our non-close plus sweep. We have a oh, that's really good. We have our order block right here. All right. And we had our internal break, targeted that week low. See how price reacts off of this. Um, we also had a sweep of liquidity. on day 15. Yeah, yeah, yeah. This is definitely a sweep on the higher time frame. Um, I don't know how low this is gonna go, but yeah, this kind of looks solid if I'm be honest with you. Let's just see how price does its thing. So yeah, as you could see, I got as you could see, unfortunately, I did get stopped out. I was tapped in perfectly this morning at 2 a.m. and price was really doing great. I honestly thought it was gonna, go down to my level and, I was gonna be up good on my positions, but unfortunately, um, I got stopped out this morning and it sucks. It honestly sucks a lot. And you can see price is kind of like just took me out. Price just did take me out, and now it's heading towards my take profit. Um, it hurts. It honestly hurts when I see stuff like this. But I followed my plan. You can see here I had this internal point high, non-close plus sweep, break of structure, failed break of structure. We had the break of liquidity, market structure shift to the upside, tapped into my order block, and started to go down from there to the weak low that I targeted. you, you can see how close price was to really taking my take profit, and for it to kind of reverse and go up, it hurts. It really does hurt, but at the end of the day, like you can't win them all. But I'm actually happy that you know I was able to do my analysis was correct. What I wasn't happy about was the fact that I risked 1% on this one when you know I mean no honestly 1% does follow my plan. But yeah, like honestly the only thing I wish I could have done better was to stay up to take partials at 2 risk to reward. Just so that in case something happens, I am securing profits no matter what. And I feel like that's really gonna help me a quicker way for me to recover my shit a lot faster. Final trade that I took was on AUD, and this one honestly I'm gonna have to when I journal this I'll be extremely pissed because reasons for me losing that trade was very very stupid. So as you can see, same thing. We had the exact same setup here. So you can see price is currently on a higher time frame downtrend. Multiple breakup structures right here. IB failed breakup structure, internal point high, accumulation liquidity, and then the same thing, the exact same thing. Price tapped me in, and I was going pretty well in the beginning ish, and then got stopped out. If you want to know the reason why, it's extremely simple. I was at work, and it sounds like I'm making a lot of excuses, but it's honestly such a Jan thing of me to do. It's like I did not check for news, and news was at 9:30. 9:30 hits. This shit skyrockets to the moon and takes me out completely. And then eventually Mark restabilizes and goes for my target. And yeah, that was the other loss. So yeah, that was pretty much this week's trades. Like I said, it's a good balance between a few wins and a few losses. Um, the ones that I have journaled though, if I'm gonna be honest with you, let's just go back to Notion really quick. Um, when it came to the positions that I took while I was in the right state of mind compared to the ones I rushed, I had one, two, three, four, five, five wins. One, two, three, four. I had four losses, and then two other losses. When The other one could have technically been a win, but it's still a loss regardless. So essentially, my win rate for this week with the trades that I properly took that followed my plan was a 40% win rate. And yeah, like honestly, it could have been a 50, but honestly, 40 is pretty good. Like with time, that number is sure to go up. But yeah. So after going through a multitude of losses today, I unfortunately, like I had a really good position going here earlier. Um really was targeting the week lows, and I tried to catch a re-entry here. So unfortunately my FTMO count is down at 1%, unfortunately. Um so what I realized is that the from what I analyzed and from what I collected, most of the data that I have shows that the model that I'm currently using only works really well with London session. So I still have the position up on my other smaller, my 200K account. It's still ongoing, but I honestly don't see much happening with this just because it's hard, honestly. And I'm down about 1% on the other account. So yeah, it's a bit tough. It's very, I mean, not even, it's very tough because I was just up 3% and then now I'm down this much. It's hard, man. It's hard. Um, it's not even the strategy that's hard. It's honestly fighting your emotions is the hardest part. So, to be honest, I'm done this week. I won't be trading anymore for the next couple days. Gonna maybe I'll have to review the trades, review everything from scratch. I'll just show you really quick where the both accounts are at. Here we have both of them are still ongoing. If we were to look at the metrics really quick. As you can see, we got down pretty quick. So went up, then down. So again, we're still going to be risking 1% until we get down to the 3% part. So 1%, 2%, 3%, and then that's it. 3%, we narrow down our risk to 0.5, and then the more lower it goes to, let's say under 5%, we risk 0.25. So that way we keep a linear progression or regression in our progress. Like we had a little up, down, and yeah. So we're gonna be risking 0. This much until we get to 8. So once it reaches 8, that's where I'll start to do more like lower risk, like 0.10. Yeah, like that's the whole point of us documenting the progress and all. Um Going forward, this is how I will be approaching my trades. So anything greater than my 3% drawdown, I risk 1%. So yeah, anything greater from 5% to 3%, that's when we start risking 0.5. And then once we get lower to like this is mine anything below anything below -5%, that's when we start um reducing our risk to 0.25 until 8.5, and then once we hit the 9, it's minus 1.0. So this gives us a lot of room to stay in the market long enough, and for me to um, collect data per trades, and as well as um, you know gives me a reasonable about amount of risk to keep trading. And I do plan on staying on these accounts for a very long time. So yeah, like that's just how it's gonna be. I'll be again. I'm taking this for the long. I'm in this for the long run. I'm not trying to rush um my my progress right now. Although we I was a reckless today, with some trades. This is good journaling, but I do know now for sure that um these trades, man, like uh my model will only work on um say on London sessions. So that with that I have to really adjust and change my scheduling and all that, which is going to be a lot tougher. But it is what it is. In all honesty, it's hard seeing the numbers, but if you think about it in in a bigger picture, in the long run, this is more of, I made mistakes in the beginning. I made mistakes rushing, especially the 200K account. Um, Honestly, like, this serves as a good lesson for me to, and it's also a wake up call for me to, focusing more on the process other than the outcome. And today we took two losses, but I'm quite happy with, how my risk is going. And honestly, from here on out, um, yeah, I do hopefully plan on keeping the same momentum. Um, I'll be reviewing the trades as well, give you guys an insight on the next video. And yeah, yeah, that's pretty much it. Again, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you soon. See ya. So, upon reviewing the footage I recorded earlier, um, I was going over a split second that I cut off through the video and realized that the 240K has reached the maximum daily loss, which, in all honesty, it's such a disappointment. I I don't know. That's um that's 1.7K gone, and all I have left is the 120K. That's 2.5K spent total. And if I lose the 120K, it's over. So yeah, I'll have to figure out. I honestly feel like quitting at this point. This hurts. Um, yeah, I'll have to figure it out. I think I'm just gonna end it here.